My pregnant wife 29 just posted on Facebook, Tyler, I don't care if Marcus sees this. You are the real father, and I am finally ready to choose you. I 32 discovered this while she is supposedly on a closure trip with her high school boyfriend. The comments are already pouring in. Her mother wrote, finally, sweetheart. Stop settling for less. Her best friend, you deserve real love, not whatever Marcus was giving you. I am sitting here staring at my phone, realizing I just became the last person to find out my marriage was over. Ashley and I have been married for 3 years. She is 6 months pregnant with what I thought was our first child. We met in college, dated for 4 years before getting married, and until this morning I believed we had a solid foundation. Looking back now, I realize how naive I was. 2 weeks ago, Ashley announced she was taking a trip to Italy with her high school boyfriend Tyler. She framed it as a closure trip, something she needed to do before becoming a mother. She said they had maintained a friendship over the years and that this would be their final goodbye as single people entering new life phases. I was uncomfortable with the idea, but Ashley insisted it was completely platonic. She got defensive when I expressed concerns, accusing me of being controlling and insecure. She said Tyler was practically family to her and that I should trust her judgment. After hours of circular arguments, she booked the trip anyway. I spent the last 2 weeks feeling uneasy but trying to convince myself I was overreacting. Ashley texted sporadically, sending generic tourist photos and brief messages about sightseeing. Nothing felt particularly intimate, so I started relaxing. Then this morning happened. I was drinking coffee and scrolling Facebook when Ashley's latest post appeared in my feed. The photo showed her and Tyler holding hands on what looked like a romantic balcony overlooking the Mediterranean. They were embracing, her head on his shoulder, both smiling like newlyweds. But the caption made my blood freeze. Tyler, I don't care if Marcus sees this. You are the real father and I am finally ready to choose you. These 2 weeks have reminded me what real love feels like. I stared at the screen for what felt like hours. The comments were already flooding in from her family and friends, all congratulating them and talking about how meant to be they were. Her mother had written finally, sweetheart. Stop settling for less. That word, settling. Referring to our marriage, I screenshot everything before my hands started shaking too badly to hold the phone. Then I did something that felt simultaneously impulsive and completely logical. I called the birthing center where we had reserved a luxury postpartum suite, canceled the entire package. $10,000 we had saved for months to afford. Then, I called Ashley's OB-GYN and canceled all remaining appointments. I drove to the baby's nursery we had spent weeks setting up and started boxing everything. The crib, the changing table, clothes we had bought together during excited shopping trips. Everything that could be returned went back to stores. Everything else went to Goodwill. By evening, the nursery was empty except for dust outlines where furniture had been. I felt hollow but also strangely relieved, like I had been holding my breath for months and could finally exhale. My phone started buzzing around 8 p.m. Ashley, calling from Italy. I let it go to voicemail, then listened to her recorded message about the birthing center calling her to confirm cancellation. She called 6 more times. I finally answered. Marcus, what the hell did you do? Her voice was sharp, panicked. I saw your Facebook post, I said calmly. Silence. That wasn't. I can explain. Ashley, you told the entire world, you don't care if I see you choosing another man. You declared him the real father of your child. What explanation could possibly matter now? I was emotional. Seeing Tyler again brought up old feelings. But they are not real. You are my husband. You are the one I want to be with. After Tyler rejected you, that is not what happened. It is complicated. It is actually very simple. You planned to leave me for him when he didn't want you. You decided I was good enough as a backup plan. Stop putting words in my mouth. I never planned to leave you. Ashley, you publicly humiliated me while declaring your love for another man. You wrote that you don't care if I see it. That sounds exactly like someone who planned to leave. She was crying now, which used to automatically trigger my protective instincts. This time, I felt nothing but cold clarity. Marcus, I made a mistake. A huge, terrible mistake. But people make mistakes in marriages. We can work through this. Some mistakes can be worked through. This wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. Multiple choices, actually. What about our baby? According to your very public post, it is Tyler's baby. I suggest you figure that out with him. The silence stretched between us for almost a minute. I cannot lose you, she whispered. You already did. The moment you posted that declaration, you lost me forever. I hung up and turned off my phone. Now I am sitting in our empty nursery, wondering if I have completely lost my mind, or if I am finally thinking clearly for the first time in months. Part of me feels guilty for reacting so drastically, but another part of me feels like I have been sleepwalking through my own life. And this was the wake-up call I needed. I don't know what happens next, but I know I cannot pretend that post was innocent. Update 1: It has been a week since my last post, and things have escalated beyond anything I could have anticipated. Ashley returned from Italy 3 days early. I know because her parents showed up at my apartment at 7 a.m. demanding I fix this mess immediately. Linda, Ashley's mother, was in full attack mode from the moment I opened the door. She pushed past me into the apartment, took one look at the empty nursery, and started screaming about how I was abandoning my responsibilities as a father. Robert, her father, tried playing good cop. Son, we understand you are upset, but you cannot let pride destroy your family. I made coffee while they lectured me about marriage being work, about forgiveness, about how Ashley was just confused because of pregnancy hormones. She publicly humiliated me, I said when they finally stopped talking. She told the world she is carrying another man's child. She explained that. Linda snapped. It was a moment of nostalgia. You are blowing this completely out of proportion. Then why did she come home early? Silence. Because, Robert finally said, Tyler decided to extend his stay in Italy, and Ashley realized she had made a mistake. The casualness of it hit me like a physical blow. Tyler had apparently discarded Ashley, so now she was ready to come back to her backup plan. Me, where is she now? I asked. At our house, Linda said, crying her eyes out because her husband abandoned her in her time of need. I almost laughed. Her time of need, she is the one who went to Italy with another man. You don't understand how complicated this is, Linda continued. Ashley and Tyler have a deep connection that goes back years. It doesn't mean she doesn't love you. Actually, it means exactly that. You are being selfish, Robert said, his good cop routine fading. That baby needs a father. Tyler is the father. Ashley made that clear on social media. Stop being deliberately obtuse, Linda snapped. Biologically, it is your child, is it? I asked quietly. The question hung in the air like smoke. Neither of them answered immediately, which told me everything I needed to know. Of course it is, Linda finally said, but her voice lacked conviction. Then why hasn't Ashley called me herself? Why send her parents to clean up her mess? She is afraid you will not listen, Robert said. She is right. I walked to the door and held it open. I think this conversation is over. After they left, I called my lawyer. 2 hours later, Ashley finally called me directly. Marcus, please come over so we can talk face to face. Number, please. I know how the post looks, but I can explain everything. Ashley, you told the world you were having his child. You wrote about real love. What part of that sounds like someone committed to their marriage? She started crying again. I made a mistake. A huge, terrible mistake. But we can get past this. No, we cannot. What about the baby? We will figure out custody after it is born, and we establish paternity. You know you are the father, do I? Because 2 weeks ago you told me you hadn't spoken to Tyler in over a year. Now I find out you have been planning romantic getaways with him. What else have you lied about? I haven't lied about anything else. I don't believe you anymore, Marcus. I am begging you. Don't throw away 3 years over one mistake. This wasn't one mistake. This was a series of choices that culminated in you publicly humiliating me while on a romantic getaway with another man. It wasn't romantic. Then explain the photo. Explain the caption. Explain why your mother said you had finally realized what you wanted. Another long silence. I cannot lose you, she whispered. You already have. I hung up and immediately called my lawyer back. We filed separation papers the next day. But here is where Ashley's overconfidence destroyed her completely. She initially refused to sign the papers. insisting we could work through this with counseling. When that failed, she hired an aggressive attorney and filed for emergency spousal support, claiming I would financially abandon her during her pregnancy. Her lawyer painted me as a controlling husband who had weaponized our joint finances to punish my wife for maintaining normal friendships. But Ashley was so certain of her victim narrative that she made a critical error. She listed Tyler as a character witness, someone who could testify to the innocent nature of their friendship and my unreasonable jealousy. It backfired in the most spectacular way possible. The emergency hearing was last Friday. Ashley showed up looking appropriately pregnant and vulnerable, flanked by her parents and a lawyer who clearly specialized in making men look like monsters. My attorney had screenshots of everything. Under questioning, Tyler admitted that he and Ashley had been emotionally reconnecting for several months before the Italy trip. He acknowledged that their relationship had romantic elements, and that they had been physically intimate. Then Ashley's own lawyer made a critical error. Trying to prove Ashley's commitment to our marriage, she asked Tyler directly, "Did Mrs. Morrison ever indicate she planned to leave her husband for you?" Tyler's answer destroyed everything. She said she was done pretending to love Marcus for financial security. She called him her safety net, and said she was finally ready to choose happiness over stability. The courtroom went dead silent. Ashley's face went white. Her lawyer looked like she had been slapped. But Ashley's reaction was what sealed her fate. Instead of staying quiet, she stood up and shouted, "That is not what I meant. Marcus, you know I love you. Tyler's lying because I rejected him." The judge gavelled for order, but Ashley kept going. "Your Honor, my husband is vindictive and controlling. He is trying to destroy me because I went on one innocent trip with a friend. This is exactly why I needed space from him." My attorney immediately requested a recess to discuss perjury charges, given that Ashley had just contradicted her own social media posts in open court. During the break, I watched Ashley and Tyler argue in hushed tones near the courthouse windows. Her parents flanked them, Linda gesticulating wildly while Robert kept checking his phone like he was expecting an escape route to materialize. When we reconvened, the judge made it clear he was unimpressed with Ashley's emergency motion. He granted temporary support barely above the legal minimum and ordered immediate paternity testing once the baby was born. But the real vindication was yet to come. Update 2-3 days after the hearing disaster, Tyler called me directly. "Marcus, we need to talk. I don't think that is appropriate. It is about Ashley. There are things you don't know that came out after court. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet him at a coffee shop downtown." Tyler looked like hell, unshaven, exhausted, like he hadn't slept since the hearing. "I need to apologize," he said immediately. "Not just for Italy, but for everything. Ashley played us both, and I was too stupid to see it." "What do you mean?" Tyler pulled out his phone and showed me a text message Ashley had sent him after the hearing. I read the words on his screen. "I cannot believe you betrayed me like that, Tyler. You just destroyed everything we worked for. I hope ruining my life was worth protecting your precious reputation. Marcus was never going to find out if you had just kept your mouth shut like I asked." I stared at the message. "She asked you to lie in court? Multiple times. She coached me on exactly what to say. She was so confident she could manipulate the entire situation." Tyler scrolled to another message. "I gave you 3 years of my life waiting for you to be ready. The least you could do is help me get what I deserve from Marcus." 3 years. Tyler's face crumpled. "Marcus, Ashley told me you two had been separated for over a year. She said you were living like roommates, and that divorce was just a matter of paperwork and timing." My blood went cold. "When did she tell you this?" "Back in February, right before she got pregnant." February, we had been trying to conceive. We had been planning our future, discussing names, setting up the nursery. She told you we were separated in February. She said you knew about me but were staying together for financial reasons until she could figure out her exit strategy. She made it sound like you had already mentally checked out of the marriage. I felt dizzy, Tyler. In February, I was researching cribs and interviewing pediatricians. We were actively trying to have a baby. Jesus Christ. Tyler put his head in his hands. She played us both completely. "Were you too physical before Italy?" Tyler couldn't meet my eyes. "I need to be completely honest with you. We slept together twice. Once in April and once right before the Italy trip. April. I felt sick. She got pregnant in late April. Tyler's face went white. Jesus. I didn't know the exact timing. I honestly don't know if the baby is mine or yours. So why did she come back from Italy early? Tyler stared into his coffee. Because I told her I couldn't be with someone who had manipulated both of us. I realized that if she could lie to you about me, she could lie to me about you. I excused myself to the bathroom and threw up. When I came back, Tyler was holding an envelope. These are all the messages between us from the last 6 months. Screenshots, emails, everything. My lawyer said I should probably give them to you. I took the envelope with hands that weren't quite steady, Marcus. I know this doesn't fix anything, but I thought you should know the truth. Ashley has been playing both of us for months. I drove home in a fog and spread Tyler's evidence across my kitchen table. Months of conversations showed Ashley describing our marriage as dead, calling me her financial safety net, and discussing her exit strategy while I was planning our future. The worst part wasn't even the emotional affair. It was seeing how calculated everything had been. She had been building an exit strategy while planning our baby's nursery. I called my lawyer and scheduled an emergency meeting. The divorce proceedings moved swiftly once Tyler's evidence was submitted. Ashley's claims of being an abandoned pregnant wife fell apart when faced with months of documentation showing her emotional affair and manipulation of both men. Her aggressive attorney quietly withdrew from the case. Ashley tried one last manipulation tactic during mediation. She broke down crying, claiming she had been confused and scared about becoming a mother, and that her actions were the result of pregnancy hormones affecting her judgment. My attorney responded by presenting a timeline showing her emotional affair had begun before conception, and her calculated manipulation of both Tyler and me for months. The final divorce settlement was far more favorable to me than Ashley had expected. She received minimal alimony for 6 months, and 50-50 custody once paternity was established. The house, which I had purchased before our marriage, remained mine. Final update. It has been 4 months since my last update, and I wanted to provide closure for everyone who has been following this situation. The paternity test results came back 2 weeks after our daughter was born. I am the biological father. I felt a complex mix of relief and dread when I got the call. Relief because I had grown attached to the idea of being a father, even under these circumstances. Dread because it meant I would be connected to Ashley for the next 18 years. But justice found Ashley in ways I never could have orchestrated myself. 2 months ago, Ashley had been posting regularly on social media about her journey of single motherhood and how she was thriving after leaving a toxic relationship. She painted herself as a brave woman who had escaped a controlling marriage. Then Tyler's ex-girlfriend reached out to me. Sarah had been in a relationship with Tyler during his entire reconnection with Ashley. She had discovered their affair and broken up with Tyler right before the Italy trip. Sarah had been following our drama through mutual friends and wanted me to know the full truth. According to Sarah, Tyler had been bragging to friends about having 2 women fighting over him. He had shown people Ashley's messages about leaving me and had been planning to string both relationships along as long as possible. Sarah provided screenshots of Tyler's messages to friends, including ones where he joked about Ashley being crazy enough to blow up her marriage for me and wondering if he could keep both situations going indefinitely. I shared this information with Ashley, thinking she deserved to know how Tyler had really viewed their relationship. Her response was to accuse me of fabricating evidence to hurt her. 2 days later, she called Tyler to confront him about Sarah's claims. Tyler, apparently cornered and tired of the drama, confirmed everything Sarah had told me. Ashley's social media went quiet for 3 weeks. When she finally posted again, it was a very different tone. Gone were the empowering single mother posts. Instead, she wrote vaguely about learning hard lessons about trust and focusing on healing. Several of her friends who had been supportive during our divorce proceedings began distancing themselves once Tyler's manipulation became known. People started realizing that if Ashley had been lying about me, she would probably been lying about other things too. The final piece of justice came last month. Ashley had been working part-time at a marketing firm throughout our marriage. After our divorce, she had applied for a promotion to full-time with benefits, citing her status as a single mother. Her supervisor, who happened to be a friend of a friend, had heard our story through the grapevine. When Ashley's promotion came up for review, this supervisor did some research into Ashley's social media presence during our marriage. She found the Italy posts, the timeline of Ashley's relationship with Tyler, and pieced together that Ashley had been conducting an affair while claiming to be a dedicated wife and mother-to-be. The promotion was denied, not officially because of her personal life, but because the supervisor had concerns about character and judgment that might affect client relationships. Ashley texted me last week, furious that my campaign of revenge was affecting her career. She accused me of deliberately sabotaging her professional life. I responded that I had never contacted her employer, and that her problems were consequences of her own documented actions, not my intervention. She didn't reply. As for Tyler, karma found him too. Sarah had shared his manipulative messages with their mutual friends, and his reputation in their social circle was destroyed. He lost several close friendships and was asked to leave a recreational sports league they would all participated in together. Last I heard, he had moved to a different city to start fresh. Looking back, the most valuable thing I learned was to trust my instincts. Every red flag I had dismissed, every moment of discomfort I had rationalized away, had been my subconscious recognizing what my conscious mind didn't want to acknowledge. Our daughter, Emma, is now 4 months old and absolutely perfect. I have her every other week, and those days are the highlight of my life. She will never know the drama that surrounded her birth, but she will grow up seeing that actions have consequences and that self-respect isn't negotiable. Ashley and I maintain minimal contact, communicating only about Emma's needs. Ashley seems smaller now, somehow diminished by the weight of her choices. She is civil but distant, probably recognizing that our co-parenting relationship depends on keeping things strictly professional. I am not dating yet, but I am open to the possibility. I know what I will and will not accept in a relationship now. I know the difference between compromise and capitulation, between love and manipulation. Most importantly, I know that walking away from a situation that doesn't serve you isn't giving up. It is choosing yourself. Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same thing. Edit. Thank you to everyone who supported me through this process. Reddit helped me see the situation clearly when I was too close to it. Your advice to document everything was invaluable, and your encouragement to stand firm in my boundaries changed my life.